And still, the champion of 135 is no other than Aljamain Sterling. Aljamain Sterling beat Triple C by a split decision, which I don't think it was a split decision. I clearly saw Aljamain Sterling win that fight. Although the fight was very competitive. The whole fight, very competitive. It was very entertaining. And in my opinion, it did represent MMA. It represented mixed martial arts. Because we saw the two fighters fight during stand-up. Then they would take it to the ground. Although there wasn't too much grappling, like submission attempts going on during the fight, part of it was because Triple C did an amazing job in defending his neck and controlling Sterling's wrists, so he didn't get submitted. Very, very good job from Triple C. Triple C has very good defensive grappling. He's not really a grappler. He doesn't really submit you or anything like that, but he uses his strength and his wrestling to basically counter jiu-jitsu. He's kind of like a Michael Chandler who uses anti-jiu-jitsu with the wrestling. So very good job from Triple C in that aspect of the fight. During the first round, I saw Henry Cejudo fight in a strange stance. It seemed like a karate stance. And I think that he struggled in that first round with striking, because since he's already a short guy and he's fighting a taller dude, I think his stance was just too straight up. So he was very exposed to taking a lot of hits in the head, and that gave Aljamain Sterling points, striking points. I don't know the statistics too well, but I do think that Aljamain Sterling had more hits in the head, and I would say it was because of Henry Cejudo's stance in the first round. And I think that Henry Cejudo, he did do strikes. However, I don't think he did enough volume to really beat Sterling. Maybe not knock him out because he's obviously a bigger dude, but I don't think Henry Cejudo did enough. He didn't land or attempt enough strikes to outpoint Aljamain Sterling. Aljamain Sterling, that's what he did. He during striking, he used a lot of points because he's also not a knockout. Aljamain Sterling isn't a knockout artist, so he used a lot of. He basically used point jabs, a few number twos here and there, but he used his jab a lot. He used hook. Yeah, he used hooks too. Some overhead hits also, because for him it was easier since he has a longer range. So for him it was easier to land those hits. But the thing about Cejudo that I noticed during striking, I'm no expert or anything like that, but I do have an opinion and I want to say it. What I did notice in Henry Cejudo when he was striking versus Aljo was that in some moments he didn't really apply enough pressure. Maybe he was tired, but he didn't look tired to me. Like, he came in great shape. So I don't think he pressured him too much in order for him to land those hits, those body shots. He did fight in distance, and that actually favored Aljamain Sterling when it came up to the strikings. But overall, I mean, it was a great fight. It was one of my favorite fights of this year, because usually these main events, they finish quickly. They tend to finish very quickly in the first, second round. But this fight was a very great fight. It was a very good championship fight. I think Henry did an amazing job. Henry Cejudo came super prepared for this fight. Like he said it himself, he said this was one of his best camps that he has ever had. And I believe it. The guy came great. Like, he wasn't tired. He took a 3-year layoff, and the guy wasn't tired. He had an absolute gas tank in him. And I did underestimate Henry Cejudo. In my prediction, I called Aljo winning because of the size, and I was right. I actually guessed that prediction right. However, I actually thought Aljo was gonna finish him. I thought Aljo was gonna finish him by submission, and Henry Cejudo did an amazing job in stopping the submission attempts. The thing is about what I've noticed in the UFC is that the rules do tend to favor the wrestlers and grapplers, because what annoyed me about Aljo Sterling isn't really like a champ that I like. Many people don't really like him. I respect him. I don't think he really does like anything great. He doesn't really have like a highlight reel in him that you can say, wow, this guy like dominates that division. The thing about Aljo is that for me, he just does enough. He does the bare minimum to stay as champ, and as fans we see it. So maybe that's why he doesn't get, you know, the respect. Aljo reminds you of like he's one of those champs that no one really respected or really liked. He reminds me of a Charles Oliveira when he was the champ of 155, because many people thought he beat Chandler by luck, like it was all luck, so he wasn't getting that respect. So this kind of reminds me of Aljo Sterling's situation. UFC rules do tend to favor the wrestlers and the grapplers, because during the fight you can see how Aljo Sterling uses the ground as a way for him to recover. You even see him there teasing, playing on with Cejudo. He like moves his head in the floor because he knows that you can't knee an opponent that's on the ground. And I think they should upgrade that rule, because I know in one championship, if the guy's on the ground, you can still knee him, and we wouldn't be seeing Sterling do that. So in a way, the rules did favor him a little bit, but either way, I do think he did enough to beat Cejudo, because he did land more strikes. He had he had more attempts when it came out to takedowns. Yet again, because he's a bigger guy, I expected that he was gonna have the most takedowns out of the two, and he didn't do as many, because Cejudo, again, props to him, the guy had great takedown defense, submission defense. Triple C, he's one of the GOATs in my opinion. Like he's a lot of people don't like him as a person, because he's Mr. Cringe, but I find it funny. And I would say Henry Cejudo isn't the top 3. I still think that John Jones is the GOAT, and I would put in Demetrius Johnson as number 2. What is next for both of them? Well, to start with Triple C, I think Triple C is done. He did take his gloves out, but he didn't confirm completely his retirement. He said he was going to talk with his wife and really think about it, and because he didn't want to say anything during the night, because the guy's just fresh from a fight. He can't think clearly. But in my opinion, I think he's done, because Henry Cejudo is very competitive. He got to a point where he doesn't really need to fight. The guy earns a good living. I think he has his own gym. He has his YouTube going on. He's got other businesses. Like, he doesn't really need to fight. Yeah, I think he's retiring. I don't think he's coming back, because like he said, if he's not fighting for a title, then he's last. If he's not first, he's last. And I don't think the UFC is going to give him another title fight. So he doesn't see a point in fighting unless you give him Sugar Sean O'Malley, which is a money fight. Then I can see that happening. But apart from that, I don't see him fighting again. Now for Aljo, we saw the altercation he had, the face-off he had with Sugar Sean O'Malley. and I like it. I like that matchup, not gonna lie, because Aljamain Sterling has fought everyone except him. Sugar Sean is a threat when it comes to striking. This guy has absolutely beautiful striking. I gotta say, he's one of my favorite strikings to watch in the UFC. The guy has a flow in him, and I'll be making another video about that matchup specifically. But I think it's a good matchup. We have two contrasting styles. We have in my opinion, the best striking at 135, fighting the best grappling in that division. So we'll have to see how that matchup goes, but I like it. Again, great fight, beautiful fight, and let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. If you saw Henry winning or Sterling winning, and who do you think is gonna win, Sugar Sean or Aljo Sterling? Let me know down below in the comments. All right, guys, that is it. I'll see you next time. I'm out.